So today we're going to talk about innovation and research and how we can leverage research to really support innovation and industry as a growing digital health company. With me today, we have Rob and Ragini, and they are a part of our medical and research team. Rob and Ragini, what comes first? Is it innovation or research?
So it's really unfair to say there's one or the other that comes first because they do work hand in hand, right? With new technology, it unlocks different possibilities to be able to measure different things, observe different things. And then with that, we develop new products. And of course, with development of new products, to be tested or retested or validated, research has to come. And so it is this, I think, beautiful dance that happens between the two.
For sure. And I think research will lay that groundwork. So, it kind of gives you that opportunity to collect that evidence that you need for that idea, for that product. And then from there, hopefully it's successful and it shows that there's a need for it, especially, with what we do on the clinical side, that it's going to help the provider, with their day-to-day, routines of seeing the patient and helping the patient and providing for the patient. And then, of course, on the other end, like you were talking about, it does go hand in hand because you could be doing research and not even think that it's going to lead you down a certain path. And so that could lead to so many more opportunities and so many other ways, avenues of looking into how else it can expand. So, yeah, it really does go hand in hand.
I would add that Qbtech has been doing research in the market in the field of ADHD and behavioral health for 15 years, right? Not just in the US, but globally. And when you think about, 10 years ago, people were really interested in sensitivity and specificity. Can you use technology in behavioral health and in primary care, and what does that really mean? And now we're talking about real world evidence and, clinical outcomes data and what actually happens within the clinical setting as well, not just, does this particular technology do what it says it's going to do from a regulatory, from a compliance perspective and from an evidence-based perspective. Anything you would add to that?
Well, I think it's that you need both. You'll always need both, right? There's a difference between testing something within a lab and saying under these constructs, it does what we think and hope and say it does, but then also putting it into the real world and seeing, well, how does it perform? Does it still continue to capture, record, measure what we originally assessed, right? And intended. And so you need both, right? Between clinical research as well as real world data, like you were saying. But in order for any product, right, especially in the medical field, to be able to collect that real world data, it has to be deemed safe, right? Looking at the sensitivity and specificity. Are we measuring what we say we're measuring? And once we, within a controlled population, say, yes, we are, then let's take it into the real world. Let's test it out. Let's put it to use in various populations, not just one specific one, and collect data as well, real time, with clinicians using this in their real practices, and then see how it performs. Is it doing what it's supposed to be doing? Is it measuring? Is it helping our clinicians and customers and patients and their workflow there?
Well, and that's where your work really comes in with investigator-led research and thinking about our products in the field and in the wild. Any insights that you would add to what Ragini was just saying, or something else around that component?
I can attest that the research that we do and when I am on site is that when you get to talk to these providers that's doing the research for us, they can give you that really hands-on insight of what they're seeing. And so, like, for example, the product could actually, or whatever we're testing, it can do its job, but what is it doing for them? How is it going to assist and help them and better themselves when it does come to treating their patients? So you get some really good insight from the providers. They give you some ideas about where you want the product to be and where it probably should go. And so it kind of goes hand in hand, working together with each other. So you get that really good insight from the individuals, the PIs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So boundary pushing, right? So digital health and behavioral health and technology, innovation, all of these things, there's a lot that continues to advance in the field in particular. And so I want to kind of shift us into how do we balance the innovation and the research. And I would add something to that to say, I think it was in 2010, we actually published our first study on the fact that hyperactivity exists in adults. So some things that we might have thought were boundary pushing, it's 2025, so I guess that's 15 years ago at this point, were boundary pushing at that point and felt really almost provocative and leading us. It sometimes takes the environment a bit to catch up. How does that kind of play into the work that you're doing?
I mean, absolutely, right? The times will also kind of help define what is boundary pushing, right? I mean, back in the day, Skype was boundary pushing. And now, I mean, you FaceTime, Zoom, all of these, like it's the norm. And so with what we're doing and what we want to do is to be able to see how can we, with new technology that's being developed all around us, right? How can we better integrate into systems that are already in place, but improve upon it, right? Make the journey for the clinician and the patient better, more efficient, and more accurate. And being able to collaborate with, different clinicians who are interested in seeing that progress, seeing that innovation, and pushing what the current standard of care is and making it better. Is really, I think, very inspirational. We get to meet a lot of these clinicians when we're on these conferences and speaking to them and getting excited about the work that they do. Also, to be honest, inspires us to think about different research projects we could do or collaborate on. What else could our tools be used for, to help improve the lives of people with ADHD? So.